to the porch. Well, we're getting ready to do an inspirational video this morning, but I have some good news that I'd like to share with our viewing audience today. We just had a couple by the name of Gary and Vicki Goats come on board as advisors to help us with the broadcast, and we're kind of doing that off of a biblical principle. There's safety in a multitude of counsel, and we want to have some extra minds looking at the videos, kind of giving us feedback and maybe helping us to understand things we can do better. And so, welcome, Gary. Welcome, Vicki. We are looking forward to working with you guys, and I think you'll enhance our ability to do videos and do inspirational things. So I'm excited, and Wanda's excited about that. And so we're going to be meeting with them probably about once a month and going over the videos that we've done for the prior month and just looking at them and lessons learned. What are we learning from these things? What can we do better? So, okay, that said, I want to go ahead and go on into the inspirational part of this video this morning. And when I was thinking about what I would do a video on this morning, something came to my mind that I hear sometimes quite often, and people will make the statement, life just happens. And that's true. But then something else came to my mind when I thought about that, and it's life just happens, but so does train wrecks. So things do just happen. And when people look at life from the perspective that it just happened, we just accept it as it comes, I don't think we're created to do that. I think we're created to plan our lives. And again, I lean toward a lot of biblical scriptures to base my understanding of this. And I think of one, and it talks about a man going to build a house, that a wise man, when he goes to build a house, he sits down and he plans it out and asks himself if he got enough money to do it. He got to kind of know what he wants as a house. And, life is pretty much that way. And if you just let it happen, it'll train wreck on you. And this is what happens so many times with the younger generation, is they just kind of nonchalantly go through life, and they end up with a lot of disasters and catastrophes in their life. And I don't want to just say, well, the young folks need to do better. I see this in the lives of older people a lot. And you should, at some age, you should be getting enough information to quit just nonchalantly going through life and not planning. Now, I'm going to lean to something that I learned back in management throughout the years. And here's one of the things that I learned. Life doesn't just happen, it's managed. If it's not managed, it will be a train wreck. Life just happens, and so does train wrecks. So if you take the notion that life is just going to happen and everything's going to be all right, you're headed for a train wreck. That's a mindless engineer not watching where he's going, and at some point he's going too fast for the tracks that he's on, and he derails. Well, that's the way people do in life oftentimes. Let's see if I can kind of come up with an illustration of that. Now, I've been a Christian counselor for, well, pretty much all my Christian life, which is somewhere around about 40 years now. And I've talked to so many people about the train wrecks that they're in their life, marriage being one of them. And this is just one part of life that people train wreck a lot. They don't plan out their life with a spouse. I think a fellow I knew one time that he married a woman, and she was so different from him, and I could see that when he married her, that it just didn't look like it could work. Well, sometimes girls are pretty and guys are handsome, and we make decisions based on that. And that's when life just happens and train wrecks happen along with it. Well, he wasn't married to this girl a couple of weeks, and they were already getting a divorce. A couple of weeks. Well, that wasn't planned out very good, was it? Well, that's the reason it's important to plan life. And I see this a lot in marriages. Now, some marriages will go a few years before they fall apart. Some will go a lot of years before they fall apart. But marriages just don't work right. They have to be managed. And if you have let me put this on the shoulders of the guy first, okay? We may not leave it there, but we're going to start there. Guys, if your marriage is not doing what you want it to do, a lot of times we find ourselves blaming the wife. And maybe there is some blame there, but it starts with me and you, okay? We're the husband of the household, and we're supposed to step up to the plate. So what do? Well, if it's not working right and you're going to manage it to where it does work right, first thing you do is you got to find out why it ain't working right. Let's take, for instance, you're having financial trouble and your wife's mad at you because you bought a bass boat and some new rod and reels and things like that. And I know we all want things, guys especially want things, but the wife's mad and the marriage is beginning to dwindle, and you're trying to make payments on this big bass boat and you can't pay your electric bill and things like that. That's tough on the marriage. That's life just happening there. That's not, and it's headed for a train wreck. That's not a managed life. It may be that not that you can't have that boat someday, but it just may be the timing's wrong. So you back up and you remanage and you do the right thing. Well, it may not be a bass boat or a fishing pole or fishing tackle and things like that that's the problem. It may be something that is far more reaching and detrimental to a marriage. And it's that you don't put your wife first. Now, I can switch this coin over and say this to the wife as well. So, wife, if you're watching this, I'm going to put a little bit on your shoulder right here. You don't pay attention to the wife, sir, and or the spouse, and they come in and they're tired and they're wore out, and then they cook supper. And it might be that might have been the day that you might have should have cooked supper. It might be that might have been the day that when she came in, she was wore out. She started to get stuff out of the refrigerator to cook, and you said, babe, let me run down and just buy us a pizza. Let me go get some chicken, or would you like to just go out and sit down at the restaurant and eat because I want to feed you? Now, see, if you got the bass boat and you're making payments on it, you may not can do that. That's why I'm saying you got to manage your life. Think about these things. Don't put yourself in a place where you're broke all the time. Now, that's just life in the marriage part of it. There's other parts of your life, business part of your life. What do you think that if you don't manage your work area efficiently in the job you're on, how long do you think that employer is going to keep you? Well, be smart, not very long. So you go to managing your life. Now, the reason I'm saying all this is because a lot of people are in train wrecks, and somebody's got to clean those things up. There's three things that happen here. Life does happen. Train wrecks happen, number two. And number three, somebody's got to clean them train wrecks up. Now, I'm going to shift gears here and give you another illustration. People go borrow money, and it's like, well, they're going to loan it to me, so I'm going to take it. Well, a lot of times people don't consider whether they can actually pay that money back. There's government loans out there right now that people can't pay back, and it's because they just took the loan and they had no way of really paying that back. Now, their life's a train wreck because they're trying to pay off a government loan and they can't pay it off, so it's affecting their marriage, it's affecting their work, it's affecting their mental health. Boy, it just goes on and on and on. Well, it's because it's unmanaged. Now, before I go too far with this, guys, I want to touch on something. A lot of the government loans that are out there are so ridiculous that something needs to be fixed there. But laying that aside, you know, is this right here is the taxpayers end up paying for your train wreck in your life. And that shouldn't be. Now, I've seen some of the government loan information, and I got to tell you something. I am so sickened. I'd like to use the word sad, but I'm really sickened at our government that would make a loan with such interest rates that the people have no future in paying that loan off. They just can't do it in some cases. Now, it's not all cases, I understand that. But in some cases, they just simply can't pay them off. That needs to be fixed, okay? So for you folks that are in that situation, I want you to know I do truly have sympathy for you. But when other people have to pay off your loans, and it doesn't just have to be a government loan, anytime you get a bank loan or anything else, if you default on it, somebody else carries the brunt of that financial payback. And so somebody has to clean up your train wreck. And that can be said in a lot of areas in life, most all areas in life. But if you'll manage your life, then other people don't have to pick it up and clean up your train wreck. Your responsibility to manage your life. If you're one of these people, and again, I have sympathy towards you, my heart goes out to you in the plight that you're in, but you got to manage your way out of this. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Manage your way out of it. Start coming up with a plan. Start working toward how you can do this. Most situations are not impossible. Most of them are manageable. But if you just keep going down the road and keep greasing the wheel that squeaks the loudest, sooner or later the wheel will just fall off. That's all there is to it. So if you're one of these that have got problems that are ahead of you and you can't seem to get them sorted out, take a management class. Talk to a counselor somewhere that can sit you down and help you to manage your way out of that. If it's a marriage problem, okay. If it's a financial problem, okay. If it's a health problem, let me tell you something. You got to manage yourself out of health problems too. If it's a health problem, manage yourself out of it. I'm doing that right now. I've had some health problems the last few years, and I'm managing my way out of it, and we're actually getting there. But it ain't going to happen unless you do it. So, respectfully, get up off of your tail, go to work, get it done. If you don't, whatever train wreck you're in, it's one of your own doing, okay? All right. You might say, Paul, why are you so hard sometimes when it comes to these things? Because it's the only thing that'll help people is telling the truth. You know, there's no biblical scripture that says the truth will make you free. Well, it will, and somebody lies to you, get them out of your life. They're not a good counselor. Get somebody that'll tell you the truth. Truth hurts more often than not, but it's the only thing that'll get you out of the train wreck. All right, we here at the Porch love you. We want the best for you. May God bless and have a good day.